from 2 years to 8 years.
I call the Honourable Tim Macindoe.
Kia ora, Madam Chair.
Kia
Thank you
ora.
very much. I always listen to the Honourable Chris Farfoy with great respect. I appreciate his thoughtful contributions, and I've listened to the last one. He's the finest minister in the current government and probably one of the busiest, and he's just demonstrated that he's also an active local constituency MP. And like him, as an electorate MP, I listen carefully to what people say to me in my electorate as well. And while I don't for a moment question that that was the feedback he's got, I wonder whether his colleague in front of him, the former Secretary of the Police Union, would suggest to him that police officers in this country would articulate a very different view, because it's certainly my understanding that many in the police would suggest that increasing the penalties, particularly for these psychoactive substances, will make a very significant difference. And that is why I'm very supportive of this particular bill. Madam Chair, when I spoke in the second reading of this debate, I began by asking a question which provoked an outraged reaction from the member Chloe Swarbrick, and I'm pleased to see Ms Swarbrick in the House tonight. I'm not going to repeat the question that I put there, because I don't want to provoke a similar reaction, but I do just want to clarify that the point that I was trying to make, and I think it has been confirmed for me listening to a number of the contributions in this committee stage, is that to some extent we've been talking across each other in this particular debate. I have no doubt at all that for many people who are addicted to these drugs or who are exposed to them perhaps for the first or second time, that this is predominantly a health issue, and I don't have any problem with treating it as such. The point I was trying to make was that this is a bill about increasing penalties for those who manufacture and, in particular, supply the drugs. And that is why I'm so strongly in support of it, because in my own community, and I think probably in communities the length and breadth of this land, the horror is at those who peddle these pernicious drugs in such a way that they do enormous harm to vulnerable New Zealanders. And that is why I do believe that there is considerable evidence, and that the police would back this up, that stiffer penalties will send the right deterrent message. And that is what the bill is aiming to do. It is not about toughening up on those who are using the drugs. It is about getting tough on those who supply the drugs. And that, as I say, is where I think there has been a lot of debate at cross purposes, talking over the top of each other. And I do want to clarify that the reason that I and my colleagues on this side of the House are so strongly in support of the bill that Simeon Brown has put forward is because we absolutely endorse his view that we need to send a very clear message in the community. And my colleague Matt King, a member for Northland, who's also a former police officer, has confirmed to me that it is definitely the view of his former colleagues that this bill will be effective, that it will send the right message, that it will help to reduce the problem that psychoactive substances are causing in our community, not least because it will actually redress the illogical imbalance at the moment in the way some other drugs are treated in our criminal justice system, when these drugs are actually being treated in a way that is very lenient. So, Madam Chair, as we debate Clause 4 of this bill, which is all about that key provision of increasing the penalty, I am strongly in support of that. I want to acknowledge the support of New Zealand First, who I think have listened to New Zealanders as well and who are pushing in the same direction. I strongly commend Simeon Brown for the great work that he has done. I send my aroha and sympathy to all who are suffering from the effects of these drugs in our community, and I very much hope that the House will see fit to pass this bill to send the right message to those who are involved in this horrible trade, to try to reduce the problem. We'll probably never be able to stamp it out altogether, but to try to reduce a problem that is endemic in so many communities. So I commend Simeon Brown, and I urge the House to support this bill.
I call Dr Duncan Webb.
Madam Chair, the